on the way.
Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band? Is Boogeyman band?
Greetings, fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. This is a little mini tribute video that I want to do, an anniversary video that I want to do for a very important film, a film that's celebrating 40 years, which is crazy. It was released on April 13th of 1984. It is one of the films that really contributed to me being a horror fan and also being a huge fan of this franchise, which is my favorite horror franchise of all time, that being Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Of course, this wasn't the final chapter. We would have 8 more Jason movies between this movie's release and 2009's Friday the 13th reboot. Unfortunately, we have not had a new Friday the 13th since then, which is insane. We're going on 16 years with no new Friday the 13th film. Who knows when we're going to get another one. But this film is still so important to me, and I will go on record saying that it's still the scariest Friday the 13th movie in the entire franchise. Now, last year, January of last year, we had a Friday the 13th, and I did several videos for Friday the 13th week. I did one on the Steelbook release of this film, which they put out over a year before the 40th anniversary. They did it a whole year earlier because there was a gap. Friday the 13th Part 3 came out in 1982, and this one would not come out until 2 years later. I've already done like a huge tribute to the film, so if people want to watch that, I'll put a link down below because I go into a lot of detail on the film and just how it impacted me. But it is a very important film, and this is celebrating its 40th anniversary the day before I turned 50 years old. So it's kind of my last video in my 40s. It's a little bittersweet. I don't like the idea of turning 50, but it beats the alternative, I guess. It's surreal thinking about it, that when this movie came out, I was just about to turn 10 years old. And I would see this film right before I turned 11 years old for the first time. My dad rented it for me on a rainy weekend. I watched it, and then a couple weeks later, my mom took me to the premiere of Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning at the Century 10 movie theater in Pinole, California, where I grew up. And I remember the searchlights that they had in front of the theater because it was a brand new theater. It was the first movie I ever saw in the theater, and it's long gone now, but terrific memories. And I remember seeing this and seeing Corey Feldman, who I had seen in Gremlins, but, you know, it kind of was like, you know, I didn't put 2 and 2 together for a while. But then, of course, I became a huge Corey Feldman fan when I realized at the beginning of Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, even though it is a dream sequence, Corey Feldman reprises his role of Tommy Jarvis. Tommy Jarvis was a very important character for me. Corey Feldman was a very important figure for me and still is, despite, you know, what people say about him and some of the things that he's gotten into as he's gotten older. I think he's been through a lot, but he's still a very important person, and I was glad that I was able to tell him how much he meant to me when I met him a couple years ago at Sinister Halloween Con. But yeah, this movie means so much, and you know, we lost Ted White back in October of 2022, and that was a huge loss. I never got to meet Ted, but still represents the scariest depiction of Jason Voorhees for me, and I think it just has to do with the fact that, you know, he, you know, was a seasoned stuntman. He had already had, you know, quite a, you know, resume of work before taking the Jason role, and he looked at it as a job. And I just felt like Ted was a beast. Still to this day, he terrifies me when I watch that film. And so much so that, and I thought I would show one of my favorite collectibles is the 18-inch Jason Voorhees from NECA Toys that I got in 2018, late September of 2018. I got this from House of Mysterious Secrets. My friend Kevin, who unfortunately I don't talk to anymore, and his site is long gone. But I remember getting this and, you know, looking at the likeness. I mean, they did such a great job on his face here, and I remember I got creeped out. That never happens. I have so many monsters and toys and everything in this room and in my office in the Horror Zone Lounge. But for some reason, when I looked at this guy, and I was really quiet at night when I was putting him kind of in a spot where he was at that time, in a different area of the room, like over on this side, which he's now kind of over here. I was just staring at him, and I got freaked out. I don't know why. It's like, and it's still... I don't know what it was about this depiction of Jason, why he was so much creepier than the other depictions. And for some reason, Ted just brought something to this role as this character. I'm so glad that in his later years he was able to see how much we as fans appreciated what he brought to the role. And not only was he a great Jason Voorhees, but he was also a good human being. What he did for Judy Aronson, who was, you know, really suffering when she was doing that scene in the raft in the lake, really cold at night, and she's in a bikini, but at the same time she had to be nude in a couple of those scenes, and he really stuck up for her when the director Joe Zito was pushing a little too hard to get the shots. So he was a good human being, and he was a terrifying Jason Voorhees, and I'm just so grateful that I have this movie and these amazing memories of growing up with this film, just as I enter a new phase of my life, and sort of reminiscing about this film and about the character and how it kind of made me the Friday the 13th fan that I am now. And just thought it would be kind of cool to do a video on one of my favorite movies of all time, a movie that means so much to me, and then also just talk about the fact that I'm going to be 50 years old. So pretty crazy. This is celebrating his 40th. I'm celebrating my 50th. And I just am so grateful that I have this outlet. I'm so grateful for people that come here and watch my content. And thank you so much for all the support. So just want to do something real quick. Again, if you want to see the longer tribute that I did to the film, I will put a link down below so people can check that out. Thank you so much again for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always.
Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.